Rumors are that allegedly NeNeleakes could be ready to launch a second lawsuit. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk? And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified, so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. All right, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly NeNe could be ready to launch a new lawsuit. What's going on? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more, and here it goes. Rumors are that allegedly the network is holding their breath, bracing for a new lawsuit from NeNe. The source said, things seem to be heating up with NeNe and her long-standing feud with Andy Cohen and the network. NeNe's recent interview with Bethenny Frankel has many fans guessing that she's ready for a second round with the network and Andy Cohen. Behind the scenes, allegedly, executives couldn't be more nervous about a potential second lawsuit from their former network star. The source continued, NeNe's first lawsuit was a pain for everyone involved, but NeNe was determined to tell her story. Many fans, including NeNe, saw it as therapeutic for her to release her story and clear her name, no matter how uncomfortable it may have been for the network and other housewives involved. With that being known, it seems like NeNe isn't finished telling her story. So, does this mean NeNe is about to sue again? Well, an industry insider said, considering her last media rollout before launching her first lawsuit, some could think she's preparing to launch a new one. However, the insider thinks she's not. So, what is she doing? The insider continued, it seems like NeNe is blowing off steam from allegedly being denied a pitch for season 16. Things may have been promised that are no longer on the table. So, NeNe is probably reliving old emotional trauma, and she's lashing out to relieve the stress. Another source said NeNe's interview with Bethenny was deep. Listeners learned new information about NeNe's struggles while being a housewife. NeNe's blunt tone and words left many fans feeling upset that she allegedly had to experience such things. The source continued, NeNe is definitely gaining more supporters with every interview she does, and that may be the goal. NeNe's story is very interesting and fascinating. It is very interesting for fans to hear about how she was discarded as a housewife, and the network knows this. One fan said, NeNe is really clearing the network out, exposing their dirty secrets and tactics, and officially putting them on notice. Fans are no longer going to tolerate this level of disrespect and bias towards some of their favorite housewives. All sources agree that if NeNe ever relaunched her lawsuit, then she would have 10 times more support than last time, which could spell disaster for the network and franchise. With new policies being announced by NBC Universal regarding new safety measures for their on-air talent, it's clear that they are feeling the heat, and NeNe could strike while it's hot. Now, kinfolk, this is some new information that came across my desk this week after Bethenny Frankel premiered her interview with NeNeleakes, and they sat down and they discussed a lot of emotional trauma that NeNe experienced while being a housewife at Bravo. So, with that being said, it's one part of this rumor that I could actually see as being somewhat factual, and it's this. I could see, right now it's all speculation and alleged information, but if NeNe was to ever relaunch her interview, I could see why she would do an interview like this, because NeNe held no punches during this interview. And it could very well be a signal that she is not going to hold punches again if her lawsuit, or if she ever brings up her lawsuit again against the network and other parties involved. An interview like this was very telling. The fact that NeNe also revealed some new information that we did not know from her Carlos King interview goes to show that NeNe may actually have those receipts that everyone thinks that, or at least everyone thought that she didn't. And by slowly releasing some of this information, it could be, or it could be seen as a signal that she's ready for round 2. And she has more information to put on top of the previous information. And with NeNe being one of the long-standing veteran housewives, it's no telling how many other receipts or how much other information she's withholding regarding her mistreatment while being at Bravo and while being a housewife in Atlanta. So with that being said, interviews like these only really serve two purposes. One is to get your story out in case that you are trying to either make a return or sell a book about your experience. Or two, send notice to all the parties involved who you feel like have wronged you that you are gearing up to hit them where it hurts and potentially launch a new lawsuit. And for a lot of people who may seem like that is not a viable option for NeNe right now, and I will admit I'm kind of one of those people, I will say this, something that my source pointed out that could prove otherwise, and it's this. You know, whether NeNe launches a second interview or not, a second lawsuit or not, it clearly seems as if she's sending signals that she is not afraid to go up against the network and the powers that be, because she sat down with an interview with Bethenny Frankel, someone who has launched her own inquiry about the mistreatment of housewives and reality TV shows, a woman who is trying to allegedly put together a union for reality TV show talent, something I personally think is very needed, because I think reality TV show talent, I think they're the most exploited of all of entertainers when you look across the spectrum. But however, NeNe sitting down with Bethenny goes to show you that she is not afraid. Just like Bethenny, she has that tenacity and she has that fearlessness about going up against the powers that be. The same very thing that, or the same very characteristics that Bethenny has. And as we all know, Bethenny has been a pain in the butt for not only Andy, but for the network and producers, because just like NeNe, she is airing out her grievances. And just like NeNe, she is seen as a more credible source for this information, considering she's considered one of the most successful housewives in housewife history. So people are going to listen. People are going to take note to the things that they are saying. And people are going to 9 times out of 10 act on that information, especially if they have a deep love or emotional connection to the housewife who is telling their story. Now, kinfolk, the other part of this rumor that I do find very interesting and I do find very important for NeNe to understand going into the second phase of her fight with Bravo, the network, and Andy Cohen is this. First, I do think NeNe has shown her hand with the first lawsuit and retracting it. She's definitely shown her hand, sort of shown her game plan. So it would be easy for the network to combat some of her stories and some of her accusations and some of her media appearances if need be. However, one thing that cannot, I think, attacked is her new supporters. I've been looking on social media and hearing a lot of people and seeing a lot of people comment that they are behind NeNe 100%. A lot of people are also saying that they didn't necessarily believe her the first time around, but after hearing her many stories with Carlos King and now with Bethenny, that they 100% believe her. And so with each interview NeNe is doing, like my sources are saying, she is getting more and more supporters. So with this type of army behind you, and if you say right now, speculating that she did launch a new lawsuit, she has more people in her army, more people behind her. So she could actually walk away with more things from this lawsuit this time around than she could the first. she probably could potentially get everything that she wants, even if it means her own spinoff, because she could leverage the amount of support she is being given and shown this time around as individuals who really care about her brand, care about her professionally, and probably will support her if she decided to do her own spinoff, or if the network gave her own spinoff show. So with that being said, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but at the end of the day, I do feel like NeNe still comes out on top. Now, kinfolk, the last thing about this interview and this rumor that I do find kind of sad is in regards to NeNe in her relationship with the network and Andy Cohen is this. I really do feel like NeNe is officially done with Bravo, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think if NeNe ever angles or gets the opportunity to return to the network, it would probably be, or she would probably want it to be, in a solo spinoff capacity. I don't think NeNe is done with the network the same way people feel like the network is done with her. I think NeNe is tired of begging and pleading to return. I think NeNe is tired of trying to be the bigger person in hopes of opening the door or even putting a crack in the door for the network and producers or Andy to walk through. With this interview, she just basically laid it all out on the table. Now, some people will argue that the things NeNe said in her interview with Carlos King and some of the accusations that she made towards certain executives was enough to be the final nail in her coffin with her reputation and her relationship with Bravo and the network and the franchise. But I think now the things that she is saying, I think even NeNe would see it as a big contradiction if she went back to the show. Because now it's like, why would you want to go back and work for these people who you consider to be, such horrible people and who you think have such horrible views of you as a person, as a housewife, as a talent, as a businesswoman? Like, why would you go back to that toxic environment? And I think that is what makes me think, and I think a lot of other people finally realize that NeNe may be done with Bravo just as much as they may be allegedly done with her. And which is kind of sad, because I always held out hope for NeNe to return. I still do hold out hope that some way, somehow they could make it work. But right now, it just does not seem plausible. But kinfolk, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this recent interview with NeNe did with Bethany Frankel is her signaling that she is ready to relaunch a second lawsuit? Or do you think it was just NeNe blowing off steam and frustration from, past traumas dealing with the network and the franchise? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.